Do you have a brilliant startup idea? Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On the Cusp. My co-host Matt Snyder is back with me.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Fighting through season 12.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Who are our guests today?
Man, we got Doug and Perry from Lumiere. I'm pumped to talk about this. Love what you're doing out there in Stonewall.
Awesome, thank you. We're excited. So it's a 32-acre Christmas theme park is how it's categorized.
And where is it?
It's in Stonewall, Louisiana. It's about 2 miles west of I-49 if you're driving south. Can't miss it. Once you drive up on it, you see it pretty quickly.
And how many seasons have y'all been in?
Just one season.
We're going into
season two.
And people are excited, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I do events and all kinds of things, and so immediately, when y'all popped up, everybody's excited. I couldn't wait to get there. I thought it was awesome. I can't wait to hear the story.
Yeah.
In our area, Christmas Light Place has been talked about for a long time. How did you make the leap and make this happen in Stonewall?
Funny thing, me and Perry have known each other since we were kids, and we, good friends, and we took our families to another Christmas attraction a few years ago, and we stood in line for some hot chocolate, for 8 cups of hot chocolate for about an hour. And it was cold, and I was just not happy about it. And I was griping and just, not in a good mood. And
that's the story of these places.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Christmas spirit, but as a dad, let's go, and I'm ready to kill somebody before I get out of the parking lot usually.
Our kids are getting antsy. They're ready to go, and we stood in line for an hour for hot chocolate that wasn't very good. And so I'm just kind of, in a bad mood about that. And I see Perry, and he's just kind of looking around with these wide eyes like, we could do this. And I'm thinking, I'm not that mad about it. But
I'm never coming back to one of these again, actually.
So, a few months later, he presents a business plan to me, and had kind of thought it all out. And in all honesty, if it was anybody else that I know that would have asked me to do it, there's no way. But Perry's got a background in lighting and sound and live entertainment, and there just wasn't somebody that I know that could have pulled it off other than him. And so at first he kind of said, hey, would you mind just partnering with me on this and making sure the bills get paid and all that? And I was like, it's not such a big deal. And not really thinking hard about the fact that, a 2-man operation is not just going to be signing a few checks and making sure things go
That many
well.
lights.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it turned into a
unbelievable
full-time operation, for the last probably 2 or 3 years now.
Yes, sir.
How long from we're gonna do this to opening last season? How long was that window?
2.5-ish years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it took you 2.5 years to get it all together, lay out your light and electrical plan.
I mean, the pathways and all is so well done. I mean, all the things that we were laughing about as a dad, dude, when I walked through with my kids for the first time, I was blown away with this is just from where it is, getting off the interstate, getting there from where we live, everything about it made it instead of getting in the car being ooh, check that off the list, to we could come back here a few times this year.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that was kind of the goal. Me and Perry both from this area, and I don't know, there's something about you can go to Dallas and you'll get something significantly nicer, and it's the people of this area deserve things that are nice as well, not something that's shoddily done or kind of halfway planned out. And so I know for him and for me, it was one of those things where I'm not going to do it if it's going to be cheesy, kind of halfway done. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, because just because you're not in a big city doesn't mean you don't deserve something that's nice and well planned and well thought out. And so it was important for us from the very beginning that it be done at a high level.
Yeah. The location is awesome. Tell me about finding that location. How did you already have that land? How did that come about? Because it's perfect.
No, so I called him and said, hey, let's do this. And he said, well, where? And I said, well, ideally in DeSoto Parish, mostly because we lived there and we didn't want to drive. And we were actually driving. We went to Texarkana about a week or two ago, and we were thinking, like, man, if you imagine if we'd done this like north of town. Yeah. One, we probably would have never gotten it off the ground. Logistically, it was very challenging, and it required a lot of back and forth trips to the house, which we're 2 or 3 minutes away from. Fortunately, where we're at, but. There's this conversation of doing it in Caddo and then Ware, and then going further south of town. Didn't want that. Wanted to kind of keep this rural feeling without driving, 45 to an hour away kind of thing.
Dude, if you live in South Shreveport, you're like 5 minutes away. It's nothing.
People, sometimes I think we hear in Stonewall that people think Stonewall is 30, 45 minutes away. It's a 12-minute drive.
It's so easy.
Simple to get to.
Very easy.
Ideally, we wanted, to get off of the interstate and say, go here, instead of go here, take a left, and go this far and take a right, and then go down here and look. So we wanted a direct shot as much as possible. And so we searched for property for a long time, I'd say at least 6 months or more, in multiple locations. And then we found this piece of property. And it's kind of the unicorn, and every obstacle in the way. And so I ended up tracing down the property owner and just answered questions. Hey, do you want all of it or some of it? And I just all of it. And I didn't know what the price tag was. Didn't know what was involved in it. In totality, the whole property was 147 acres at the time. And we've subdivided it and have a commercial development. There's a neighborhood development around us, and the park sits right in the middle of it. It's perfect, awesome. 1/2 mile by 1/2 mile, so we call it the square. And a lot of time put into the property location and identifying what would and wouldn't work.
It's a great location.
So, it'll be a cool place. So, it's awesome. And continue to develop and evolve over there.
Cool. Okay, so now we've got the land, and how much time do we have until opening?
2 years. We tried to do it in 2023, and we had a hard red line date. We had closed on the land, which took a long time. Commercial real estate, very different. And then it so happens to sit on a state highway, which comes with a set of challenges as well. So we bought the land in 2023, and we had a hard red line date that if we get to this point by this date, we'll proceed with a 23 opening. If not, we'll push it to 24. Cool. So about 1.5 years, I think, is kind of around the time frame.
What was the biggest hurdle?
Oh man.
There's got to be a lot.
Did you have to rezone it?
Yeah, we did rezoning.
We had to go through the municipal process of rezoning and permits and all that. And looking back at it, we were pretty naive thinking we were going to be able to get it open in 23. Seeing that we were out at 3 o'clock in the morning setting up lights right before we opened in 24, it came down to the wire in 24. So the thought that we could try to get it open in 23 now seems kind of silly, but at the time, we were,
you think,
we could get it
I think
done.
in our minds, we thought you buy a piece of property, you put a driveway in, and you start building your property.
You're right.
And
doesn't work that way.
It's definitely not on a state highway. We had to do a traffic impact study. It took us about 7 months. Obviously, being a theme park, you bring a lot of cars in, and in a rural-ish area, that's pretty significant. So that took a long time, and then there's a lot of other
from a
regulatory pieces.
From like an event standpoint, when I was walking through, like thinking of all the things that I always deal with, trying to put a stage in a field or whatever.
Right.
Like the amount of power and electricity you had to run. I mean, when you bought the land. Like
there's nothing there.
You had no utilities on there at all. So you
I was so impressed with how much
I'll tell you, fun
had
fact, we had
everywhere.
power, I think we only had power for about 30 days between the time that we got it turned on and the time we opened.
No way.
Yeah, so we were actually installing the park with no electricity, no running water.
So you had no way to test and know if it even going to light up.
We got to the point, we finally called our electricians and said, all right, you guys are going to have to work around us now. And because we, and they didn't do anything wrong, it just kept going and going and going. And the Christmas tree was the biggest piece for us. The tall one. The tall one, right. And
which happens to be the tallest in Louisiana.
It's the tallest in Louisiana, yeah.
That's right.
And how tall is that?
It's 72 foot.
Awesome.
And you put a star on it, it's supposed to be at 80. But it's a very sophisticated piece of technology. It's not just a Christmas tree. People think of it as, go to Lowe's and buy a Christmas tree, you pop it out of the box and go, this one's
And I mean,
not
it's
that way.
much more than that. You're not just going to Lowe's and buying every light, string of light, okay, that you can get in a cart.
Yeah.
Okay, it's much more than that.
Yeah, it's all manufactured and designed to spec. I remember, actually it's a funny thing, we were watching the news last week, I think, and there was a container ship that dumped all its containers in the ocean. Well, that could have been us, in all reality. And so this time last year.
So your lights came from offshore?
Yeah, we manufacture everything overseas and imported it. And so I think they arrived late October last year. We had
glad you got them now because you won't be paying tariffs. Okay.
Yeah, they came in 4, maybe 5 big 40-foot containers in 1,000 pieces.
Yeah. No instructions.
My God.
No labels.
I'm like the old dad. When I'm walking through y'all's place, I'm like the old dad. Like I'm very daddy.
Yeah.
I'm like shaking. I'm like looking out. Look
No,
at
it's
look at this power.
It's all in Chinese, and so you're trying to look like where does this bolt go, and you just like
holy shit! How did they put all this together?
It was wild, and
oh my God.
we actually had a core group of friends that really helped us. Obviously, we had some labor guys out there doing this stuff, but we had a core group of friends that kept us going and pushed us across the line. At the end of the day, and they'd stay out there and they'd go and bring dinner and pick up some drinks and say, all right, let's go, and they'd bring their tools, and like you said, unfortunately we were out there till 2 and sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning at the 11th hour, and but we got it done, put together.
Those are the best.
It was great, and there's a lot of
we do have a little bit of a funny story that we told a buddy of ours we were going to work in. Probably the biggest flub that we had, in year one. We're the day before Christmas Eve. And Perry's at church. He's the sound guy at church, and he's running the Christmas Eve service, and so he's not there. And he's usually the tech guy that's in charge of everything at the park. Well, he handed those duties off to a buddy of ours to play the music and to control the tree and everything. And I'm out at the entry just greeting people as they got there, and a lady came up to me, fire and mad, and just got right in my face and said, do you hear the music that they're playing on the tree? And I couldn't hear it really. It was just noise from where I was. And I said, no, and there's a playlist. I'm just thinking, maybe it had a little, she said, it's playing a song that says Merry Mother Christmas. And I said, what?
It's one of the busiest nights we had.
Family theme park.
That's right.
Okay.
And so come to find out,
started ringing like crazy.
Come to find out, he had just pulled up a random Christmas playlist and hit play on it, and it was playing some raunchy Christmas music, which I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
But you had no clue.
You got to know every aspect.
It was just blasting, and it was like, oh my gosh! And so
you couldn't get that playlist.
Isn't it crazy
off
though when you open something like? I've
man.
never done anything like this, but I've done big events with a lot of work and all that, and you're like, I'm giving this to the community. I've done such a good,
right.
and then this lady walks up and just hammers you for some tiny little thing that you had no control.
Yeah, well, I can understand her frustration.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly.
But
For sure.
it was totally not.
That was really the only
Be
incident
glad
for
she
the whole
came up
season.
to you, okay? Or your social media would have
That's
been
right.
blown
That's
up.
right. I'm thankful
You wouldn't
that
have been able to
she
do that.
came and gave it to me, because we were able to get it fixed, right away. But it was just a funny thing that we still rib him about today.
Dude, that's awesome.
But all things considered, year one, not really knowing what we're doing, for that to be the biggest
That's crazy.
thing
That's
that we had,
awesome.
we were
It's
pretty
huge.
thankful for.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny, going back to the hot chocolate story. I remember we were walking out one night, and this is right there, at the finish line. He's like, man, if they had just served good hot chocolate, we wouldn't be this.
That's hilarious.
It was just like, if they just
Now,
served
do you
good hot
have
chocolate.
concessions? Do y'all offer concessions and everything?
Oh, he's got the best hot chocolate in North Louisiana.
We do. We serve. Obviously a good cup of hot chocolate that's good, hot, and fast was a big part of our thing. But we originally wanted to do all the food service in-house. We tried most of the year to get that done, and it just didn't come together. And so right at the 11th hour again,
Yeah, we were October again last year.
We pivoted to food trucks, and we got a few local food truck vendors to come out. They committed to the whole season, and they were excellent and really elevated, I think, the experience of the park.
Now, is that going to be the same for this year?
Yeah, so
we're
we're
going to keep that theme.
We're going to do the food trucks again. We have a few of the ones we had last year coming back. We're going to add at least one new one to try to just expand what we can offer. But they really came in clutch for us last year, because it was really a last minute
It sounds
thing.
like it was a real community effort.
It
to
was,
pull
and
this together.
that's something I'm proud of too. Is that I think I could count maybe 3 or 4 of those vendors that either purchased new trailers or started a had a different type of a food service restaurant, and so they were able to start and add this new part to their business because of the business they were going to get, from the park. So we were really able to help expand more than just our business by the park last year, and that's something that.
So what's new for this year for 25? What do you got in the works here?
Yeah, jokingly said we can't tell you, but no, I mean, so looking back at last year, there was a list of things we didn't even get to finish. It was kind of was like, all right, we've only got so much time.
Oh, so you didn't have to put a lot of brain power into that. Yeah, you knew exactly what you were going to do.
And so one, we'll obviously finish some of the things. And then our goal is to constantly offer the uniquely improved or uniquely different and new and improved.
Oh, cool.
And so
I was going to ask that. Like, okay, are we done? And like now rest up a year? Or are you always going to be at like?
Well, the idea for me, again, obviously budget, dictates a lot of that. For me, I'd change the whole thing every single year, and so when you come back, it's like, this is a whole new thing again.
Your friends are like,
that's
don't
right.
It's like they've moved you once. We're not.
That's exactly right. So no, our trail is thematically designed, and so you move from one theme into another, and then so on and so on. So and it unfolds a story. So this year we'll put a little more intention into telling a story.
Oh, cool.
And creating elements in that, and then year after year we'll improve the story, so it changes themes.
The walking through the pathway like made it so
very
fun
mystical and magical is the idea.
And
the interactive is a goal for us. So adding different textures that create elements that people don't get to experience here. One thing that we're working on now is creating a space where it snows the whole time.
Oh, cool.
And using different technology pieces that. Just create different zones, even audio, the way that we distribute audio and different textures, those kinds of things. And everything idea being interactive, so there's displays that you get in and interact, and photo ops, that's what we call them. That's what we want. That's the idea. And then we're improving the space, the large open space that you came into was a part that we really didn't know how that was going to function. And so now that we have
what is the season? When are you going to open up this year?
We open November 21st, and we'll run straight through December 31st every night. So,
sweet.
Yeah, we don't close for holidays. That was a decision we made at the very beginning. Let's be different than everybody else, and so we offer something that nobody does, and so we'll rock and roll.
That's awesome, man. Like I keep telling you, but I think it's such a gift to our community. I'm with you. Like I've gone to so many of those and been like, oh my gosh, this is a dad thing I have to do that really sucks.
That's right, exactly.
And like at Jaws, I really wandered down that trail. Hanging out, visiting with friends, watching the kids run, and it felt so relaxing and fun.
That's what we want.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Best of luck, guys. This has really been good.
Yeah, anything we can ever do, we'll pump it, and man, like
we'll call you next.
Thank y'all.
We'll make sure this episode goes out. Before then.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.